Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Joe Biden is now the 46th president of the United States. Kamala Harris is the 46th vice president of the United States. They're bad enough. They'll bend any which way they have to bend to maintain power, like everybody else in Washington, Democrat and Republican. But the people that are following them into the administration are ultra-radical leftists. Radical Muslims, like Rashida Tlaib, Ilham Omar, radical atheists, radicals of the Marxian Jewish left, radical LGBTQs, radical feminists, radical blacks, radicals of every persuasion, sex, color, and creed. And the sad part is that the people in those groups are generally good people, but these are radicals. These are people who are bent on destroying the vision and creation of our founding fathers. Make no mistake about it. That's what it's about. And already on the first day of Biden's new administration, he issued 15 executive orders undoing virtually everything that President Donald Trump did. Hear that? It's back to square one. It's back to even worse than the Obama years. Certainly Obama was unprincipled. Obama was an anti-Semite. He was anti-Christian in his heart. He was one half Muslim. He was totally Muslim in his heart. He was the biggest enemy of Israel, even a bigger enemy, frankly, than Hamas or Hezbollah, because he had the power as president of the United States to cut the legs out from under Israel, Jewish people and Christians. And he certainly did it. But these people, it's a whole different league. These people are in the major leagues of tyranny. This country is no longer controlled by the majority. In fact, at this point, using the Israel analogy and the anti-Semitic analogy, we are all Jews. We are all Jews, just like Jews were in Nazi Germany. And if you think that this is going to go away, and you think that you can just live your happy little life in your home, go play tennis, go play golf, do whatever you're going to do with your kids, forget it. Because your time of doing that is extremely limited. It's not going to be long before these radicals are on your lawn with the full support and sanction of the Biden administration and the Harris administration and the radicals that are now infesting the government like cockroaches, worse than cockroaches. That they'll be asking the keys for your house, for your car, and if you don't give it to them, they'll kill you. And that's coming because now they have a green light. Now, on the other side of the proverbial corrupt fence is the Republican Party, which is dead. Forget about the Republican Party. It's over, completely over. Mitch McConnell, the so-called leader of the Republican Party, his wife, Elaine Chao, even laundered money from communist China into his accounts through the communist Chinese spy John Wang. We uncovered that when I was running Judicial Watch in the late 1990s. He's corrupt to the core. He can brag all he wants about the 300 judges, and the President Trump, former President Trump now, is also misinformed because these judges aren't worth an SHIT, excuse the French, but I have to use that word. They aren't worth that. I've been in front of them. Go get my book. It Takes a Revolution. Forget the scandal industry. You'll see. They wouldn't even stand up for the president. The president put them on the federal bench. And let's talk about the Supreme Court. Justices Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Coney Barrett threw the president under the bus, stabbed him in the back. And then to make that worse, the majority leader of the Senate, Mitch McConnell, literally stabbed the president in the back as if he was Brutus stabbing Caesar in the Roman Senate in the back. Now there's going to be an inquisition. You know what that's about? The real inquisition. That's about making sure that Donald Trump stays politically dead. They want him dead and buried because with him, they think they will dead and bury, so to speak. Please forgive the grammar. They'll think that we'll be dead and buried too. But you see, Donald Trump was never the political messiah. He simply was the manifestation of what the people see as a tyrannical government as a totally corrupt nation's capital. I looked at those images yesterday on television, and it's a shame. On the surface, it looks like a beautiful city, but in those buildings is a rot, a filth, something which, frankly, is toxic and deadly. And we need to abandon that city. Let's keep it, make it like Pompeii in Italy. And if right now it's covered with a filthy ash, let's form a new capital. Let's go back to Philadelphia, our roots, Independence Hall. Let's drive the leftists out of Philadelphia, and let's form a new government by and for the people. We have a right to do it. In the beginning of the Declaration of Independence, it says that when the government no longer represents the people, the so-called government, we have a right under the laws of nature and nature's God to alter or abolish that government and to form a new government by and for the people. That's what we need to do, because there never was a political Messiah. There's only one Messiah, Jesus Christ, and the Father. And he will support us. He will have his hand on our shoulder if we take action ourselves. But if you think you can sit around and hope that this is going to pass and go out to your tennis court or your golf course or your swimming pool and think that you're going to have a good life with the way things are going, you can forget it. And if you're white, right now you're sitting at the back of the bus. You have no rights anymore. Zero. None. And these corporations that back this ultra-leftist push, it's just like the corporations leading in the years up to World War II with Hitler that supported him, kept him in power, the BMWs, the Mercedes, the Deutsche Banks that financed the concentration camps. That's what they're doing. I'm sorry if this sounds like it's a doom message, but it is a doom message, because unless you wake up the American people, it's all over and there's no place to go. You can't leave this country and find a better place, because the rest of the world depends on the freedom which used to shine from this country to shine on them. I have friends that have gone to Italy. There's no refuge in Italy. The fun and games in Italy will be completely gone once the United States goes down the drain. No one will be able to be there to protect them. So that's the story, ladies and gentlemen. We need to rise up. I want you to read the Declaration of Independence. Read my book. It takes a revolution, and we need to wage a peaceful legal revolution. We have the right to take our legal system back. We have the right to indict, to try, convict, to sentence, to effect citizens' arrests, and we will try to do it peacefully and legally. But I'll tell you something, what you saw in Washington 2 weeks ago yesterday, that was not a revolt. That was not an insurrection. That was not a riot. That was the American people who had had enough. Frankly, sure, there were a few agitators, but the majority of them had had enough, and they couldn't take it anymore. And they saw the rank corruption, and they reacted. And where did they go? They walked into a Capitol which they own. And the police, by and large, let them in because the police were on the side of the people. That's the untold story. So don't listen to the BS that you hear on Fox News and people coming from Washington. They're afraid because they don't want their city subject to a violent revolution. And I can understand that. But you know what? They brought it on themselves. They brought it on themselves. And I don't want to see violence, and I don't want to see anybody hurt. But unless we wage a peaceful and legal revolution, take our legal system back and to form a new government, we'll do it peacefully and legally. If they want to come for us, they can come for us. But the fact is that it needs to be done. We don't have a government anymore by and for the people. So face the facts of life. This country as we know it is over. Now we need to build a new country, and it's not too late. And with God's grace, we'll do it. So read my book, read my lips. Takes a revolution, forget the scandal industry. Turn off Fox News, extolling the virtues, fawning over Biden and Harris yesterday like little lapdogs. Turn it off. Turn them all off. Get to work. Join me in waging a second American revolution. God bless you. God bless your family. Remember, the God and his Son are with us. These periods have occurred throughout history. We need to rise up. Just like Jesus and Father destroyed the Romans, we will peacefully and legally destroy the evil forces of the radical left who want to put us in a socialist communist gulag and enslave us to their whim. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast. Until then, thank you for listening to me.